Wennerstrom, Common Sense Health Expert. Welcome to the Wild and Free Healthy You podcast. Without your health, there isn't much joy in life, so here we talk about all facets of health, including lots of unconventional strategies, tools, and solutions from a holistic point of view. This podcast is all about motivation, inspiration, and expansion of your mind, your body, and your spirit, because your health is your number one asset, and my job is to help you protect it. Now, on to today's episode of the Wild and Free Healthy You podcast. This podcast does not provide medical advice. The purpose is to promote consumer knowledge and information on various health topics. Always seek the advice of your qualified health practitioner. This is an edition from Dave Stetzer, our America's electrician. That's what I call him. And he has created alongside with his team some videos that I hope you will share with your loved ones, with your family, and then I hope you'll take your time to go through them and really see how electricity, cell phones, Wi-Fi, the routers, all of those are affecting our health, because with his meters, he gives us a visual demonstration of what is happening, and we talk about it in our in the interviews that we've done with him on the podcast, Wild and Free Healthy You. But we have also, but now you have these videos to show yourself. Seeing is believing, and you cannot help but see with his meters exactly what is happening, along with his trusty team and his assistant, his daughter. I mean, they're just basically wonderful people to have done this for all of us. So thank you to Dave Stetzer. Thank you to you for watching, listening, and for sharing the podcast and my Lynnie Motivates YouTube channel with others, so we can all get healthy together, because your health is your number one asset. My job is to help you protect it. Enjoy these videos.
Okay, what we're trying to do here, demonstrate, after talking with Lynnie Wennerstrom, we had a conversation, and we thought we would show what normal household things that you would have in your home or office, the problems that they create and high frequencies on the line. So what we've done here is we set up a little experiment, and we have an oscilloscope here, which is like a $5,000 item, so not everybody can afford $5,000, but what we wanted to do is but it actually shows it in real time, the high frequencies that go on the line. And we have another meter we're going to demonstrate later that actually measures the current in your body. But the oscilloscope, we put the output of the oscilloscope up on the screen. And you can see the red line is a 60 cycle. It's one cycle of the 60 cycle. In Europe it would be 50 cycle. Then we have a little filter that we take out the 60 cycle with, and the scope is hooked up here. And we take it out, so the blue trace is what's left over. It's like going to Mexico and drinking a glass of water. You could drain the water out of the glass, and what's left over would be like the bacteria. The bacteria is what makes you sick. So this is the high frequency that makes you sick. Now, it isn't really too bad there right now. And one of the meters that we have here is a meter that you can see it's reading 27 or 28. So it's measuring the high frequency energy that's on that line. So it's really not too bad. So this is what the average household can afford. It's a little over $100 or something. And most places you can find it. And we have one here. I can hold it up. You can see it a little better. And so anyway, so it's reading like 27. So now most people used to have incandescent lighting. So if we turn on the incandescent light bulb here, like a 60-watt light bulb, you can see there's really no change. And you can see it here, it's still reading 27. And there's really no change in the blue. Now we come along, and most homes have light dimmer switches. So if we turn on this dimmer switch, first of all, you see it went up to 87, 85, it'll bounce around. And there's two great big lines that are on that high frequency transients on that blue line. It's on the positive and it's on the negative cycle. And you can see them. And I'll point them out. Here's one here, there's one there, here. And if I vary this, you can see it moving along the line. So you know it's this. And you can see this number now, it's like 69, 70. Now I'm starting to chop it more, it's up to 90, 95. So You really don't want to have light dimmer switches in your home. They're really not good for you. And the problem is it gets on every wire in the whole house. Now I come along with one of the worst things that's come out in this decade are these compact fluorescent lights. And you can look at this one here, and we'll turn it on. And you can see the number goes up to 169. But look at the oscilloscope. The trace, those are high frequency transients, and it's somewhere around 50 kilohertz that's putting on. 50, 63, there's a couple of them, but you can see how bad that is. Now, any energy above 2 kilohertz dissipates internal to the human body. So we don't want that there. Then you can come along, and we turn this off, and now LEDs become a big thing. So we'll turn this LED on, and you can see it gets crappy again. We're up to 53, 54. And so most LEDs are bad. The ones that are dimmable are almost always bad. We do have some LEDs that we found that aren't too bad. And we're using them. This is the box, and it's a Xylotech LED, and it's 100 watt, and it's from, you can buy them at Menards, and they're fairly cheap. Okay, one of the things we also want to show you is we'll turn this light on here. Now when you have these high frequencies on the line, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's coming from your house. You can take them all out yourself, but maybe the neighbors have them. Or smart meters put 50 kilohertz back on the line. So we've developed a filter, and you can see the filter here. And if you plug the filter in, you can see the number goes back down to 28, and you can look at the oscilloscope trace and how it cleaned it up. It shorts these frequencies out. If I unplug it, you can see the number goes back up to 230, and you got the high frequency transients again. Also, we've decided, or we want to show you some other things here, like this Dell laptop computer here. That puts 50 kilohertz back on the line, and we will plug that in. One, and you can watch that, and I will plug this in here. The number goes from 23 back up to 118, and you can see that frequencies up there. Put this out. We also have an Apple computer, and this is that's 50 kilohertz, that laptop. And some of the older ones used to put 25 kilohertz back on the line, but the newer Dells, and I'm not picking on Dell, most of them, the switch mode power supply is 50 kilohertz. Now I have an Apple, and that should put 12.5 kilohertz back on the line. I plug it in, it goes up to 58, and you can see the high frequencies there. We're also going to demonstrate the current that actually goes into your body. So we'll plug this back over here. And the so what question is, well, what happens? Not only does this put 50 kilohertz back on the line, those frequencies can be coupled into your body when you get close. And we have a meter, and I have an assistant here. We're going to hook her up, and we're going to show you what this computer will do and what the CFL light will do, and you will see that the incandescent doesn't do anything. And we have some fluorescent lights. We can show you how much current that goes into your body, or it's put into your body. Okay, so what we've done here is we have a reference to a ground. And so we're going to take a meter. It's a multimeter. It's a Fluke 187 or 189 will work, or a 287 are the newer ones. And we hook one here to a reference to ground. And then I'm going to take this other wire, and I used an EKG patch. You want to use an EKG patch, and you can get them at the drugstore or someplace like that. And then you hook it on to, I put the EKG patch here, So it's right in the middle of her chest. Okay, now we'll ask her to sit down. And we're going to turn this to microamps. Now, you can say, well, microamps, it's only a millionth of an amp. Okay, so microamps are 1/1,000,000th of an amp, but 18 microamps will cause cancer in numerous well-programmed studies. That's a quote from the National Institute of Health and Environmental Sciences. Also, 60 microamps will stop a dog's heart, 80 microamps will stop a human heart. So now we have 1.26 microamps on the meter. Now here we have this laptop computer, and we'll ask her to go ahead and put her hands on that. And you can see it's a metallic one, and you can see that it goes up to 24, 25, 19. It's bouncing around. Now another thing we're going to do is remember I said the compact fluorescent lights were the most dangerous lights, and you can see we have the CFL here. And so what happens if she's working on this computer, and we'll ask her to remove her hands from the computer, and you can see the meter again is 1.1 microamps. We turn on the light, and we'll ask her to put her hands up toward the light, and we have 5. Now we have 11, and move your hands farther away, okay? And put your hands back on the computer. And you see we're 27, 28 microamps. This is causing damage to her cells and to her physically. So you want to take care of these things and just be aware of it. And if you have to, and we're going to have you put your hands back again on that computer. And just to show you something, now this is a laptop computer, and I'm going to reach in front of her and I'm going to unplug the charger. And you can see it drops back to 1.6. So you can see if you're going to use a laptop, try to use it on battery power as much as you can. We live in the 21st century. Nobody's going to go ahead and take your computer away from you. Nobody's going to take your cell phone away from you. Things like that. You're not going to give it up. But if you're going to use stuff, you can use it and try to use it as safe as you can. Okay, continuing with our experiments here of measuring the body current. Not body voltage, that's kind of like a joke. This is body current. And we're reading like 12.5 or so microamps actually going through her body. And the reason we're getting it is from these fluorescent lights. So if you're working under fluorescent lights every day, and we know it's a fluorescent lights because you can watch. I'll ask you to move your hand up toward the light, and the farther she gets closer to the light, the closer she gets, is 21. And you lower your hand down a little bit, and you can see the numbers being reduced. Now, 1 second, and we'll turn the light completely off. Nothing has changed. We're back to 0.5 microamps. Again, 18 microamps is associated with cancer. Okay, so I'll turn the light back on again, and you can see it. So because here at Stetzer Electric, we kind of know these things. We are experts in electricity. We've taken some LED lights, and LEDs are the same, but we've taken some and modified them, and we've changed it. So we're going to turn this one off. We're going to ask her to move over underneath a different light, and we'll do the same thing. So now we have some LED lights that have been modified. And they should be in every office or school, places like that. Okay, so you can see that it's like basically nothing, 0.38 microamps. Now, she's standing underneath this light, but the light's not on, so obviously there shouldn't be anything there. So I'm going to step over here and turn the light switch on. Okay, 0.38 microamps. Now I'll ask you to raise your hand toward the light. 0.38 microamps. The same. Put your hand down. Okay, now I'm going to turn, and we're in the same room as we did this test before. So now I'm going to turn on the other fluorescent lights that have not been modified. And you can see the number goes up to 1.64, even though she's 5 feet away from it. And the ceilings are 8-foot ceilings in this room. So if you're sitting in an office building all day, you will actually build up a charge, and you'll wonder why you don't feel well when you come home at night. There's been research done on it way back in by different people, where they put screens on the lights, shorted these things out, where the kids at schools, they did it at schools, and it's been well written up and well documented. Another source of high frequency energy is what's coming through space. Things like decked phones, cordless phones, cell phones, Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi is very important because everybody uses it. And we buy new vehicles now and it has the Wi-Fi capability, things like that. So people are becoming ill because of these things. The meter that I prefer to use, and the reason is that it has a directional antenna. So not only does it tell me something's here, it tells me where it's coming from. So it's pretty quiet now, there's nothing here. And it's reading the power density of microwatts per meter squared. It's a meter made by Gigahertz Solutions. It's called a HF35C. So I'm going to aim this at this computer, and there's really nothing there. The number on here, the Russians say 10 may be acceptable. They don't say it's safe, they say it may be acceptable. So we're going to have her turn on the Wi-Fi, and we're going to try to hold this so you can see it. There's 800, 1200. Okay, so we're running along here, maybe 1200 microwatts per meter squared. Okay, we'll have you turn it off. 300, 400, 500. And usually if you're going back and forth, because we don't have a Wi-Fi router here, and if it was going back and forth, Wi-Fi routers in the home, 10 feet away will put over 2000 microwatts per meter squared. So that's Wi-Fi. Now the other thing is cell phones. And you can see this cell phone here. And we'll have her turn the cell phone on. And again, I'm probably this distance away from, it's actually farther distance will make a big difference. And you see there's 500. Now we take it off airplane mode. And we'll ask her to send a text. Okay, so you can see it's really high. Okay, just say hi and send another one. Now, and also the cell phone's going to look for the cell tower. Now it's over 600, 700, and it's looking for a tower all the time. And so when it finds a tower, it's fine. But when it doesn't find it, it boosts up the power range. So the power range boosts up as we go along. Okay, you can go back to airplane mode or whatever. And again, we're looking at 300, 400 here all the time. And this will go over 2000 at times. Today we're going to discuss the concept of grounding or earthing, as some people call it. It's really, in North America, one of the most dangerous things that you can do. In Europe, they use a different system. They use an open delta system. So all the electrons that leave from the utility substation on a wire return on a wire. In North America, there's two paths that it can return by. One is by the utility's wire, primary neutral wire, it's called, and the other is via the earth. Almost every pole has a ground rod from the primary neutral going down and a wire connecting to that primary neutral into the earth. So we have an example here. We have this grounding mat, and I'm not sure whose it is. There's all kinds of them. Or earthing mat, if you like. And we have an oscilloscope here, and we have the output of the scope put up on the screen here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a wire, and we plugged it into the electrical outlet here, the grounding part. And so we'll connect that here, and we're going to connect this probe to here, maybe. Little snap connector there. And then we'll just put this up on the scope. And you can see there's a 60 cycle sine wave there. The bad part is you can see the 60 cycle sine wave is very distorted. It contains all kinds of high frequencies. So what we're going to do here is we have this software. We can stop that waveform. And we can go up here and we can do a spectrum, a frequency spectrum of it. And you can see here that there are all kinds of high frequencies riding on this. And these are harmonic numbers. This would be 180 hertz. This one here is the fifth harmonic, which would be 300 hertz. And we're going way out here. So, do you really want to sleep on this or lay on this? Instead of discharging or something, you will actually charge your body. We're here today to explain the hazards of cell phones and the radiation that you get from them. We have an HF35C meter, which is made by Gigahertz Solutions, which is a good meter and it has a directional antenna. And as you can see, we're a foot away from this cell phone, and we have an iPhone on the podium here. And we're going to go ahead and you can see this number, and you'll see it goes over 2,000 microwatts per meter squared. That's the power, the density of the power. And what happens is the Russians say that they don't say it's safe, but what they say is 10 may be acceptable. And so we'll run way over 2,000, and we're a foot away, so nobody holds their phone a foot away from their head hardly. So now we're going to just send a text, and my assistant's going to send this text. And you can see we pegged the meter at over 2,000. Now we want to demonstrate some of these little devices that you can get that say that, oh, this here takes the bad energy, makes it into good energy, or protects you, or whatever. Okay, so now we're going to put this on the phone. And you can see it has no effect whatsoever. There's another device here, a little chip, polymer chip or something, and we can lay that on there. We'll take this one off, and we'll lay this on there, and we'll send another text. And you can see it has no effect. You have to think about this. Absolutely no difference. People are trying to take advantage of people's lack of knowledge. Not their lack of intelligence, but their lack of knowledge. And they sell them these products, and you have to think a minute. First of all, where's the power source in this? If you want something done, you need energy, and you need a battery or something like that. There's no battery here, there's no battery here, and you're asking it to do some work, and it's taking this bad energy and turning it into good energy. It's impossible. And if you change the wave on that cell phone, your phone won't work. It's simple as that. The same as none of this stuff works. It's junk science.
I hope an awful lot. I want to thank Dave Stetzer and his team for helping us to understand what Wi-Fi, the routers, electricity, the lighting, LED lights that are not modified, and fluorescent lights, and all the earthing and all the things that he has taught us today, cell phones, and all the radiation and everything that is happening, what's going on in our DNA, our body, our blood. It's thickening our blood. So again, thanks to Dave Stetzer and his team. Thank you so incredibly mucho for watching. I hope that you have learned a lot, and just thank you for being part of this podcast and keeping yourself healthy. Your health is your number one asset. My job is to help you protect it, and this is why I try and bring anything that I can to help you find common sense ways to do that. You can contact Dave Stetzer at stetzerelectric.com. You can email him at dave@stetzerelectric.com, and he is amazing at answering questions, and his staff is very knowledgeable and can help you. And you can get your own Stetzerizers, your own filters for your own home there as well. So feel free to call him. He always tries to make himself or his staff available to answer all of our questions. Again, thank you for listening to the Wild and Free Healthy You podcast. And don't forget to share this with your loved ones and your family, friends. Share it out so people know what is going on and can take some action and take care of themselves. Love you so incredibly mucho. Have a fantabulous day. LynnieMotivates.com is my website, and you can always contact me there. You can listen to on Spotify, find the podcast pretty much anywhere, iTunes at this point. Have an incredible day, and again, thank you for watching, listening, and taking care of your number one asset, your health.